What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corman Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Corman. It's been 2 years since the last episode, and the last episode I had was, I believe the last episode I had was with Aaron Carter. May he rest in peace. Yeah, a lot's changed in the last 2 years. I want to make an announcement. I'm obviously starting the pod back up again. I needed some time to be able to get it going, and it's interesting. Like I really enjoyed it. For those that don't know, because there's a lot of new faces here. There's a lot of new listeners now. I had a podcast going for about 2 years, and towards the end there, we were starting to get some traction, specifically on the listener side. Not necessarily on the visual side on YouTube, but like more or less like on audio, like on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So thank you guys for tuning in so much. If you are listening right now, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. Make sure you drop 5 stars on the podcast and click follow and click subscribe. So how I typically did do this and how I believe that I'm going to do this going forward is I think that I'm going to be dropping episodes every single Monday. And yeah, that's the idea. That's what I did last time, and that's what I loved. And we're going to have some great guests on here. But I want to give you guys an update on where everything is at since I last spoke on this platform. Yeah, I basically needed time to just focus on the music and focus on what was actually driving the revenue of the business. And so I was living in Boston. And then this past 2 years, I've been living in Miami. A lot's changed, man. I live here by myself now. I got my own place. It's my first time ever having a place to myself. Super dope. And I'm just really blessed. The last time we spoke, I had 200,000-ish monthly listeners. And this month, I just crossed 1 million monthly listeners. So that was a huge deal for me. That was always the goal. That was like, I would always tell my friends, like, if I ever hit a million monthly listeners, then I pretty much made it. So, so like that like was my goal. Obviously, like I'm being sarcastic. That's not like an I made it thing, but it's pretty sweet. Like that was a big milestone for me that I'm extremely proud of because I've just been talking about it forever. So yeah, so hit that. And now we've just been releasing tons and tons and tons of music. But now basically I got the music to a point where I'm really happy with it. I love the way this new sound is. I have this fire engineer and producer that I've been working down here. Shout out NSJ. He's going to be on the podcast too. And yeah, things have just been going really great because I made the direct choice in my business and career and life to take away all the bullshit. Like I feel like a lot of times in life we have this goal, like whatever that may be in your career. Maybe if you want to lose weight even, like, you know, maybe if you want to just crush it in the gym. In my case, it was, I wanted to be bigger in music. I wanted to get more streams. I wanted to live off the streams off my music, but not just live like and pay my rent. I wanted to live extremely comfortably. And I was focusing energy on tons of different places. I was focusing energy on the podcast. I was focusing energy on the merch, relationships, just like a million different things. And like, socializing, just a bunch of different distractions. And once I took all of that energy and focused it on one thing, which was just the music, it went up. And so I don't know, I think there's something to be said for that for anybody in life. Like if whatever you're focused on, it's just like maybe you have some distractions right now in your life that you can cut out. And that's what I did. And it really helped. And I'm just truthfully, I'm just really thankful and happy to be here. And so, but in knowing that, there's been a part of me that has been missing the last couple years. I really enjoyed being on the podcast. A lot of people I learned didn't listen to my music, but they would listen to the podcast. So I'm excited to bring it back. You know, what other time are you able to sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hours with somebody, not look at your phone, and just have a conversation with them and learn about their life and their experiences and get to give value to each other and just have a good conversation. Like that doesn't really happen anymore. And so I'm excited to have the podcast because that was missing in my life. And I'm a very spiritual person. I feel like it helps in the spiritual realm as well. And yeah, it just feels good. Like I can't just be pushing out. For me personally, I drop a lot of music, but it's just like an egotistical thing to just keep on pushing out music. And I don't know, the whole social media thing. Like it reminds me of social media. Like stream my new song, like my song. Like it's just like, yo, like there's just got to be this other aspect of me, which is talking to people. And and then also one thing I really like about the podcast too is I'm an avid listener of podcasts, and I really enjoyed when I was going to work back in the day. I'd always listen to a podcast when I was working or on the way to work, and it helped me escape a little bit from whatever I was doing. It was a little bit of escapism, and I want to be able to provide that escape for people too. You know, I want to be able to help people learn and become better versions of themselves, and I feel like a podcast is a good way to do it. You know, for the people that want to listen, it gives them however long it's going to be, 30 minutes, an hour, to kind of take some time away from their life and away from music and just the outside noise and just kind of be. So, thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to do that. And again, thank you for listening. Just solo on here today to kick off the first episode. And then I'm going to have guests on. I'm hopefully going to do it weekly. I don't really want to set a schedule, even though fucking I know I'm going to. But yeah, weekly would be nice because I just like that aspect of it. Every Monday dropping an episode for everybody. I feel like that's really cool to get into that routine. So yeah, if you guys have any guest suggestions, feel free to leave a comment on my YouTube or DM me on Instagram at Matt Corman and let me know. One thing I wanted to cover today though, and rant, is milestones. So like I said before, I just hit 1 million monthly listeners on my Spotify account, and that was like the biggest goal for me. Like that was basically, if I hit 1 million monthly listeners in my head, it was my I made it moment. And I used to always have this idea. Like I would look at other people that had 1 million monthly listeners and I'd be like, oh, they have X, Y, and Z. Like everything's all figured out now. And something I'm coming to terms with as becoming more advanced in my career and just getting older and getting wiser is that no one has anything fucking figured out. Like even me right now, like at the level that I'm at, I know there are people that are looking at me because I know there are artists that look up to me and ask me to coach them and help them. They look at me like I got it all figured out. And like, while there are things I have figured out along the way, it's not like this perfect life that is, I don't know. It's just, that's just all fucking I's are dotted and T's are crossed. It's interesting. I thought that when I hit this point, it'd feel like something, but it honestly felt like I was proud of myself for a hot second, which, to be completely honest, I'm not proud of myself too often. It's a little difficult for me to not be hard on myself, and it's something I'm actively working on. But I hit this goal, and then I was like, oh, like I'm really proud of myself. Like you did it, and that lasted like a little bit. But then I was like, okay, cool. I'm still on the same mission though. Like instantly, I'm recording the next song, and you know I got my schedule, my release schedule, and everything. And it's like, oh shit! Like that person that you're looking at level 55, and you're maybe at level 3 or 4. They're potentially just focused on the same shit that you're focused on. Like right now, my focus is the same focus I had when I was getting 10 listens a day, and that focus is make better music and get more people to listen to it. Now I guess in a way, obviously it's shaped a little differently now. Like back then it was like literally anybody and just like, hopefully you guys think it's dope. And like, that's it. Now there's more of a framework around it where it's like, there's a side that I want to be impacting people positively, and there's more of a method behind the madness rather than just throwing shit at the wall. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I just know people, you know, whether you're in school right now and you're looking for that graduation date, maybe it's a promotion at your job. Be careful what you set for your goals, because, you know, I'm starting to learn and figure out that checking things off of a list, that's not why we do the things we do. That's not how you find value in it. That's not how you find, I guess, peace with it. You find peace with knowing that it really is just, it's about the journey. It's not about the goal or the milestone. Like once I hit X, Y, and Z, like I remember I was like, oh, I want to make X amount of dollars per month off my music. And then once I hit that goal, it was like, this is sick. That's amazing. I'm super happy with that. But there also is some aspect to it where it's like the feeling kind of gets numb and it goes away. It's just like the only thing that matters is actually the journey of it and the story. And that's why they say the journey is everything. Shout out Russ. It's just something that I'm realizing that I'm working on right now and that I'm just like taking note of too. Because as I set more bigger goals and milestones, and I'm sure that you are as well, it's just something to consider that it's not everything. So don't get too worked up about that graduation date, that job offer or whatever. Because once you're in the position, you're in the position. Then you're going to be worrying about something else. Like once I hit 1 million monthly listeners, I was instantly worried about something else. Now I'm worried about bigger shit. I'm worried about some other shit. And then once I got that amount of money in my bank account every month, like I'm worried about some other shit. Like it's so crazy. I remember living off of dude, I remember being fucking dead broke, living in Boston, sleeping on the air mattress. And I still think of the same fucking problems now. And I live by myself in Miami and like I'm way more financially stable. It's just interesting how our brains work. We just hit something and then we just find something else to just think of as a problem. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to point that out there. So be careful of the goals that you set for yourself and just be mindful that while it is great to celebrate them along the way and it is important, it's also even more important to celebrate the journey that you took to get to that goal and achieve that milestone. Just something to consider. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you're having a good day. And I hope that you're having a great time. I want to apologize to the listeners that were listening every Monday to the podcast, but we're back, baby. So thank you so much for having me back. I'm excited. Any guests that you guys want on this podcast, let me know. Stoked to be back. I feel like it's going to bring a lot of peace to me. I'm excited to have more conversations with people that is outside of just showing you guys new music every week. You know what I'm saying? Yep. All right, guys. I love you so much. See you guys soon. Peace.